If we go back to the 2022 New York City Marathon, we saw one of the more interesting marathon performances of the past couple of seasons. In this race, we had many tremendous athletes, including the eventual winner, Evans Chebet from Kenya, who ran a time of 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 41 seconds to take the win. However, for the first 75% of this race, there was one athlete from Brazil who was way ahead of the rest of the field. In fact, he was so far ahead at many points, you couldn't even see the athletes behind him, and this athlete was Daniel do Nascimento from Brazil. Now, over the opening half marathon, do Nascimento was so far ahead that he was actually right on world record pace at the time. I mean, he was absolutely moving through this race. But over the second half, some strange things started to happen, including him taking an actual porta potty break in the middle of this race. This was certainly an issue in a marathon, as if you're looking to win a major marathon, which is one of the most competitive kind of things that you could ever win, you will need to run a nearly perfect race. But then, things really started to unfold, and right around 30 kilometers, do Nascimento collapsed to the ground in exhaustion. It was honestly shocking to see how far in front he was for such a long time, but either way, he blew up on the biggest stage and was passed by the entire field. Now, going into this race, do Nascimento's personal record was 2 hours, 4 minutes, and 51 seconds, which actually makes him the fastest non-African-born athlete in marathon history, which is pretty crazy because that places him at 81st, meaning that all of the top 80 marathoners are in fact African-born. But just recently, we got an update that really put do Nascimento's running into question, and it came from an out-of-competition doping control test on July 4th. According to multiple sources that will link down below, including Running Magazine Canada, Daniel do Nascimento has been provisionally suspended after testing positive for not one, not two, but 3 separate banned substances. And these 3 substances are drostanolone, methinolone, and nandrolone. Now, the full breakdown of this report is still yet to be posted, as the Athletics Integrity Unit or the World Anti-Doping Agency haven't released any official reports, but given that it has been recorded by multiple sources, means that this is very likely a legitimate source, and it also means that he will likely be banned for 4 years, potentially 3 years, if he does outright admit that he was doping. Now, if he ends up taking the 4-year ban, that means that not only will he not be able to compete in this year's Paris Olympics, but the 2028 Los Angeles Games will also be in question. But if he does decide to admit his faults and take the 3-year ban, then he potentially could run in the Los Angeles Olympics, if he is in fact able to qualify. This was quite the unfortunate event, as yet another high-performing marathoner has been allegedly outed for testing positive for banned substances, but there's also 2 more points to the story that many people are in fact pointing to. 1, Daniel do Nascimento has been training in Kenya, where there has been rampant doping issues for the past couple of years. And 2, do Nascimento's girlfriend, Graciele Zari, was also suspended earlier this year after testing positive for 2 banned substances. It also is important to mention that his girlfriend tested positive via the anti-doping agency of Kenya, so she herself clearly was training in Kenya, and this just shows even more widespread doping through the country of Kenya. For many, the first time they ever saw do Nascimento was in the 2021 Tokyo Marathon, where he famously gave a fist bump to Eliud Kipchoge in the front of the marathon. And it's also notable to mention that he did not finish that Tokyo Marathon as well, because he did pass out just like he did in New York. This was another very sad realization as to an athlete doping in track and field, and I'm now wondering what all of you have to say about this issue. What do you think about do Nascimento's running? What do you think about this recent triple positive test? And do you think he's going to come out and outright admit his doping and potentially be able to run in the Los Angeles Games? Leave your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, until next time.